Right, John, for us it's about 2 minutes. For everyone else, it's now Friday. FA Cup, John. What's you thinking? Are you going to say what I think you're going to say?
What do you mean? What?
I think I could create a little bingo card for this podcast and tick off a few things that you might say here. Not a priority, and Emery won't be treating it that way.
Yeah.
And you're probably deep down going, can I be bothered to go to London again?
Nah.
Not really.
The food at Spurs is unreal, mate. So I'm
I've been in hospitality, mate. It is good up there.
Yeah.
Or down there, I should say.
Yeah, no, I think it's important that we don't play that card because there's obviously
not in the first minute.
a lot of, you know what, we have. There's a lot of supporters who would be angry if we just pretended like, we should just sack this off. Because we shouldn't. We shouldn't sack it off.
No.
Absolutely not. But as I said for the third round match at Middlesbrough 2 seasons ago, I'm only being honest. I'm not fussed about the FA Cup until or if we get into the latter rounds. It was, for me, I think Cardiff at home last season where I thought, all right. And it wasn't just because it was Cardiff, by the way. That could have been Man City, could have been Arsenal, Chelsea, whoever. And I would have still had the same feelings of like, okay, right, if we win this, we're then in the quarterfinals. So if we win this, we're one game away from Wembley. Make no apologies for it. That's just my feelings.
Is that your feelings because that's you as a supporter, as a, well, I don't know, 25-ish-year-old man?
No, it's you know, is
it because of Emery?
No, it's purely because we're in the Europa League.
You just don't think we can manage the load of competing on all fronts?
I don't. And I know that if we lose to Tottenham, my feeling straight away will be, okay, well, we're in the Europa League still. There's a chance to win a trophy. And I'm not getting caught up in but it's not less prestigious or whatever, you know, those different things. I know that the club needs to be in the Champions League as often as it possibly can, every other year at the sort of least. And we've got a great chance of winning a European competition. So if we fall out the FA Cup, I would have been much more angry because that was a chance or the last chance for a trophy, which it's not going to be the case if we fall out against Tottenham. Again, if you get to the latter rounds, you know, the 5th round or whatever, like the Cardiff game, as I explained, okay, now you can kind of plot it again of where you're going to, or how you can attack this competition. But right now it's so wide open. It's nothing against the FA Cup and a prestigious thing or the fact I've never seen Villa win a trophy. Nothing to do with that. I'm desperate for Villa to win a trophy. And it probably doesn't come across right now. But again, the fact that we're in a competition that I know that we can win anyway, are we going to do the double this season? I don't think so. Yeah.
It is an interesting one, and I am with you. I always say it, but for those that are new, if you can get through the early rounds without really exerting yourself too much, I think that's a huge positive because you've not played your strongest team and then worn yourself out for a league game or a European competition game.
With respect to Sancho and Gesson, I don't think we have this is why I keep saying the Europa League knockouts are going to really test us in the league as well, while we want to rack up as many wins as we possibly can, because I don't think we have the depth as I talk now on January, start first week of January, whatever. Yeah, I was going to say 9th because it's going on the 9th, but
I've broken the illusion. Oh no,
you've broken the illusion.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the Spurs side of it in a second, but I think if you can make a couple of changes and I don't know, win at 60% or whatever, then that's a massive positive because you've navigated what could be a tricky test. Now, if you can beat Tottenham and then you've got a week off, to be fair, to play Everton, and you're also to win that, yeah, you've got through the 3rd round and you've still won in the Premier League. Like that's the perfect way to navigate this upcoming 10-day period or whatever it is. If you play your strongest team against Tottenham and win, okay, great, you're into the hat for the next one or into the bowl. But if that hinders your performance against Everton, is that a trade-off anyone's willing to take at the moment? 4th round of the FA Cup, but you lose a game in the league. I get it. There's plenty of time in the league, and I said we've built up such a buffer that we can afford to drop a game here and there. But you could get Man United away in the 4th round and then go out then anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like you want a good look, you want a good run in the draw, play teams that you think you can beat. Now I do think we can beat Tottenham, by the way, even away from home. Almost especially away from home. They're terrible at home.
Yeah, they're worse.
So I'm pretty comfortable in that, but I don't want us to flog ourselves to try and win this one game and Ezri Konsa gets injured during it and is out for the season because he's played in a game that I'm not too fussed about at the moment. But it's difficult. I always find the FA Cup games difficult because I'm desperate to win something and I'm furious when Villa lose a cup game because that's the end of it for another year. There'll be plenty of people listening who don't like our tone. These two young whippersnappers, they don't respect the FA Cup, and I love the FA Cup, and it's the only one I've not seen us win. I get all that, but I think we've got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, I'm on this podcast. I'm only ever going to be, true to what my opinions are. I could easily
think it's detrimental to us to be this honest.
Yeah, but no, all right. So my stance is that I'm not overly fussed about it until we can win a couple of rounds, because it's foggy, right? We're going for top 3 in the Premier League. The Europa League, I think, is a massive opportunity for us this season. We've said all of that before. We're halfway through the campaign. I don't think we have the depth at the moment to deal with 3 competitions like I think we did last season. I want to win the FA Cup, of course I do. I want to beat Tottenham. I want to get through the next rounds, but it's just not. It's not a focus for me right now. Do you know what I mean? It's exactly what I said for Middlesbrough 2 years ago, and my stance will always be like this. I think maybe there's a part of our generation potentially. We've never seen Villa win a trophy, let alone an FA Cup. Last season was special because we had those games at Villa Park. The West Ham game was really good because in fact, I said on a previous episode, I think that was one of my favourite games. Oh, did I? Oh no, that was in a car actually, talking to someone else. But that was one of my favourite games from last year, that West Ham match when we were in the black shirts. The atmosphere was brilliant. It's not me taking anything away from the FA Cup whatsoever, but my opinion on where Aston Villa are this season. And frankly, Unai Emery's as well. I'm not aligning with Emery, but I absolutely understand his position of I would rotate players. I'd love to get through, but if we don't, I'm not going to be majorly critical because I understand what this season is for Villa, and the FA Cup is it's unpredictable, if that makes sense, and we hardly have the luck of the draws. I'm not saying that's a reason to it doesn't matter then. It's not that. If we were not in Europe and we weren't going for that trophy, I'd be all in on the FA Cup.
Yeah, 100%.
This is it. But we've hardly had a good run of it. Yeah, yes, we've had a couple of semi-final last season, a final. 10 years ago now? Is it 11? That's that. We haven't won an FA Cup in so long, and we want to. And if Kendrick was here, I think we did a video with him last year, actually, what the FA Cup means.
Is it really that black and white? Is it old men, FA Cup good? Young men and women, FA Cup don't really care.
For the third round, and I know that some generation of supporters will view the third round for them is because it's nostalgia. That was one of the best days in the calendar. It's not now. And that's just the brutal truth of it. I don't like that, but that's the truth of it.
I think us being honest about it is, well, I don't really care if we get criticised. It's our opinion. We are being honest.
If we came on here and said, we've got to beat Spurs. If we don't, it's going to be a disgrace. I don't feel like that.
No, I'd be lying, and that'd be disingenuous of us to do that. And maybe other podcasts are laying it on a bit thick, and I've not seen anything, by the way. I'm not throwing shade at anybody, but we're always going to be honest about how we see games, how we want to talk about the club, and this is why maybe this is one of those ones that Kendrick maybe should be on this one to go, no, you guys don't get it. The FA Cup is the be all and end all, and blah blah. Firstly,
but we know
do
what
get
Kendrick
it.
would say.
I know.
But can I say, and equally, we agree. We want to win it. We want to beat Spurs. We want to go far, but no one can look to the future. I want to beat Tottenham, yeah. And then we're getting the fourth round. I want to beat them as well. And then the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one after that. But that's so far away. Do you know what I mean? It's such there's so many games that we're playing this season. This is one of them. So they're all important, and we will play them as and when they come, if they come. And if they don't in the FA Cup, okay, our chances of winning a trophy are still high, in my opinion. We were incredibly critical about that Palace match, not even on the pitch, off it as well. The tifo thing that they had for the fans, it was shambolic. It was dreadful. It was embarrassing. Us as a club on that day, it was well below par. Aston Villa was so much better than that.
Yeah.
So let's hope we get through Tottenham, and let's hope we get to Wembley again in some months' time, and we can put on a show. Let's hope that happens. But right now, it's so far away that I'm not getting excited for it because I don't feel that buzz yet. The Cardiff game I did, because it was like, win this, and we're one game away from. Do you remember us in the airport celebrating getting Preston? I got some right stick for that off other people in the industry. But we wanted that.
Number 1, Preston at home.
2.
We'll play.
2.
Come on, Danny Murphy. Yes! It's Villa. Get in there. Oh, I love that.
Respect Preston. Firstly, this is one of those things where you clip up and you put it out, and then we lose to Preston.
I wouldn't care if that embarrassed me, because this is the draw that everyone wanted. It's nothing more than a fantastic draw. I'm absolutely delighted with that.
And we want it again. So I don't want anyone to say like, oh, you're this, you're that. And if that's the case, that's fine. But I'm just being honest. I don't know about you, Dan, but I'm not feeling an FA Cup buzz right now. I'm just not. Maybe on Saturday I do, but I'm not sure. 9,000 Villa fans going there is what I'm looking forward to seeing. That's going to be like hopefully not the highlight. Hopefully we win, and that'll be the highlight. But you know what I mean? I'm looking forward to that rather than thinking this is going to be the start of us winning the FA Cup. I just don't feel that. I will if we beat Spurs, then beat Norwich away, and then beat Chelsea at home, and we're there and going towards.
You mentioned before about last year we could handle the extra competitions because of the squad depth that we had. Most of that was because of the January additions, right? In Rashford and Asensio and Disassi was cup tied, wasn't he? So he wouldn't have helped us in that, but he helps in the other competitions. So if Villa can get through this one, which is exactly my point, get through it unscathed, no injuries, no exerting yourself. You don't lose the next 2 Premier League games because you batter yourself in the FA Cup. Brilliant, because by the time the 4th round comes, maybe we've made a couple of signings and we can then handle the depth to make put out a stronger team. So it's such a kind of flashpoint, the 3rd round, because it's such a weird point of the season. It's halfway through, no transfers yet. It's like you get through this and then it starts, but this one's not really.
Yeah, and I also think it's a bit of a sort of, because again, as I mentioned earlier, the 3rd round for a generation of fans was one of the highlights of the calendar, and for some it still is, and that's absolutely fine. But because that's the case, how do I explain it? There's no sort of easing into the FA Cup. It's boom. It's important from the get-go, and you must treat it like that, and that's fine. But that's what it is. The Carabao Cup. What round do we start for the Carabao? Does anyone know?
Like, 3rd or 4th when you're in Europe or something?
Who knows? Like, there's no calendar for the Carabao Cup. It's just that's a competition that's played, and we know that the finals at the start of the year was in February or start of March.
Like early March. Yeah.
That's the Carabao Cup. There's 2 legs in the semi-final. That's what it's known for. And with the FA Cup, everyone knows it's boom, like weekend, 3rd round. And the big clubs that get knocked out, it's like you should be embarrassed. Like you're done. I don't think it'll be much more embarrassing than losing Stevenage at home, and we've had that already. So
let's talk about it from a Tottenham perspective. Just to wrap up, but I don't know how much longer we're going to go for. There's Arsenal Liverpool has just kicked off, so I'm sure we both want to go and keep an eye on that. How seriously will Tottenham take this?
Because they're
in much more problematic position than we are. I don't think Thomas Frank will be there much longer. I'd be amazed if he was there come the end of the season, unless there's a dramatic turnaround. Their league position is not great. I actually don't know how they're getting on in the Champions League, but you obviously don't expect them to win that. The FA Cup is their chance, but they also will see themselves as a big club who need to sort their league form out. And is this a chance for them at home to finally get a win under their belt, or do they make changes as well? Like it's a weird opposition for us to play as well.
Frank needs to win that game, and he could be playing Shrewsbury. He could be playing Villa in the league. It could be anything. I think this is an important game for Tottenham. For us, I'm how to put this? No, we're not going to be playing without pressure because you want to get through. But at the same time, I think there will be a degree of freedom for the team because, again, naturally, by the selection that's made, I presume there'll be changes made. Emery has said before, his focus is always the Premier League, and then it's Europe, and then the other cups. So, again, we know what the priorities are here. And for that reason, the players will go into the game, again, wanting to get through. They've had a taste of it last season, going far. But it's not playing for 3 points in the Premier League, which we know is the bread and butter for Unai Emery. So, yeah, I'm excited to see how we play, and for different reasons as well, players that can come in too. But Tottenham, I think they need to win, and they probably need to go strong to do that as well.
What kind of 11 are we looking at? Do you think you'd suspect Bizot plays? I mean,
well, Martinez might be fit.
That could be the case anyway, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm going to ask Emery if Alisson can play. I'd love to see him start, to be honest. But yeah, I think at the same time, you've got some players who probably need minutes / Emery would want to have a look at. So Bogard, I think, will go in.
Yeah.
You could see Garcia start as well. Sancho may get another opportunity.
Marlon.
As much as, and that's as much as Sancho getting a chance, but as well as possibly Rodgers coming out. I don't know. I don't know if he'll go as strong as playing Rodgers and Miggin, for example. And what does he do with Kamara? So if I had to take a stab at an 11, I think he'll go relatively strong, but that's because we have a good squad, just not one that I think can hold up throughout the whole campaign, as well as we'd like. So Bizot, Garcia, Lindelof, and I think Powell might get some minutes.
I was going to ask about Powell.
Mings. I'd like to have seen Mings play this game, to be fair, but having not been in the squad against Palace, probably too early. Left back, I don't know, between Maatsen and Dean, depends who's fit enough. Yeah, in the midfield, Bogard. I would love to see George Hemmings play, but I just think Bogard and Hemmings might be a bit too youthful.
Tielemans, I'll go there.
Yeah, maybe there's a second half for Hemmings potentially in there. And then further forward, who have we got to pick from? Dan Marlon would surely start. I think Sancho will start. And then your options as well. You've got, obviously, your Rodgers. I think we'll have one sort of big hitter still in there. So I think Rodgers could even start. I don't know. Maybe that's...
Rodgers, Buendia, Marlon, Sancho.
Yeah. Are we missing someone there? I don't think so. Watkins, I don't think will start. McGinn, of course, you've got 2. So, yeah. But, mate, I don't know. You may even see a rogue Jimo Aloba get a start as well. I don't know. And that's something I'd like to see. But then equally, if you offered me, and this is kind of my point on it altogether, if you offered me your best players start and you go through with no one getting injured, I'd take that, because I think there'll be some fans that say, I just want to see the youngsters play. And there'll be other fans saying, oh, no, you play your best team to win. I'm in the middle of that. I'd like to see both, essentially. But at the same time, I want to win. That's always going to be the case with any of these games that Villa plays.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here on the post-match and say, well, we lost to Tottenham 2-1 today and that's it in the FA Cup for another round. But Jimo Aloba looked all right, didn't he? It's nice to see him play. There's no room for sentiment.
I think that could be exactly what we say, but I know what you mean. You're not going to be like, I
want to win games, yeah.
We're not going to say, oh, it's all right though because Hemmings has had a good game. Like, yeah, that would be great, but we want to win, and we all want to do that as well. It's just that I'm not going to apologise for an opinion, but I can just be honest. The FA Cup right now, I'm not excited as I know I will be in a couple of rounds' time. And again, that's been the case for me for the last 2 years. And we've seen that come true as well. We've gone from getting West Ham and feeling like, oh, West Ham in the third round, to celebrating in an airport because we've got Preston. I'm not going to lie about your emotions.
No, absolutely not. People are well within their rights to feel about this game, however way they like. Yeah, it's absolutely fine. I will be as excited about any other victory if we win this game on Saturday evening. Yeah. We will be doing a post-match. Not sure who that will be yet. That'll do for this one, John. People, please do get in touch in the comments. Please be respectful. If you don't agree with us, that's fine. But don't. Are you anticipating? I think we'll have rubbed people up the wrong way.
I don't think we've done anything wrong here.
Just our honest opinion. I can guarantee you will always get that from this podcast. We're not going to sit here and fake things or have a debate. And John, you slag off the FA Cup and I'll stick up for it.
Oh yeah,
and have a bit of a battle.
And we would have done that if that's how we felt. But FA Cup's a long road, and we want to enjoy that journey. But to enjoy that journey, I think you've how do I put it? For me anyway, I want to be excited about it when I feel like it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not gonna get myself up for a game where I don't know. We've said what we've said, haven't we?
Go around in circles there, mate.
Yeah.
Get involved in the comments, as I say. We're keen to hear your thoughts as always. There will be a post-match show, so wherever you're getting the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube, keep an eye out on Saturday evening for the next one. Thanks for listening to this one, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.